span need more structure than the average child. So that means you need to have a schedule for them at home. What you do when and post it up. And you need to follow that schedule, which is sometimes hard to do. You need to help them slowly develop longer attention spans by giving them something to do with a timer and having them practice paying attention longer. The sooner you can teach them how to use a planner, how to write things down and keep track, that helps. Now, having said all that, there are some kids, no matter how hard we try, who have severe attention deficit disorder. And even if you do all of those things and cut out the sugar, they still may have hyperactivity and attention problems. And just like you would say to a diabetic, tough it out and see if you can make it without your insulin. You wouldn't say to a kid who has severe ADHD, tough it out and see if you make it without the medication. And here's another call out from Dr. Arnold Mendenhall in Birmingham, Alabama, talk about the late CBS anchor Ed Bradley. And I quote, "Today I read a statement from the late Ed Bradley when he talked about growing up in Philadelphia. He said his parents, both his parents, worked two jobs 20 hours a day. One of the things that they reminded him of was that you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whatever you want to be. So in that statement, we have to design for what parents are all about. They have to be a model. They have to live it so kids can see it. And they have to preach it to them. At private schools, they don't hesitate to ask parents for their resources. They put their hand out and parents write a check or do whatever. The issue is that parents can provide whatever resources they have. It doesn't have to be money, but they have to be involved. They too have to take ownership of the school. The other idea is that parents have to embrace the idea that the primary responsibility for the education of their children belongs to them." And here is one thing that really, and this is for people who've dropped out of high school, who don't have their GED or working on their GED. Now, I know a lot of people that went to high school that are high school dropouts, but it is never, and I repeat, it is never to get a GED, okay? And here is one book that I read. I want to share this with you guys. So, it's from the call out from Ed Rice, Vice President of Student Services at Mississippi Delta Community College. Shares one of them. I quote, "If you have an individual who wants to go back and get their high school diploma, we can provide a non-threatening environment. It's more like a drop-in setting. There are no time constraints. It's not what you have to go at 6 every night. You can go at 3. It's basically open to whenever that individual wants to go and practice for that GED exam. Tonight we heard from an angry 18-year-old who grew up in 2 or 3 different families, who felt abandoned, had low self-esteem, and wasn't even sure what that was. I'm kind of private," he told us. "I don't want anybody to know that I can't read and I can't write." He asked if we understand where he is coming from. Yes, we do. We see people like him all the time. We have staffers on our campus that work with a variety of individuals, whether it be individuals who cannot even speak English and where English is a second language for them, to individuals who have very little formal education, whether it be 3rd, 4th, 5th grade education. We can help. And also, here is one more thing that I want to read, that I want to share. And it's from the call out. This is also talking about people who want to go back to school. This is from Beverly Brown of Panama City, Florida. She was sharing a story, and I quote, "My name is Beverly Brown. I returned to Gulf Coast Community College in the fall of 1994. I had just gone through a divorce. I was broke with no skills. I realized that my life was in pretty bad state. I was the mother of 3 young children with no hope, no dreams, and no plans for the future." If you've ever gone through a divorce or watched somebody go through a divorce, you know how devastating it can be. It leaves you feeling hopeless, like a failure. I was alone, divorced, and poor with a house full of children when I realized I was in the exact same place as my mother when she was my age. I saw a pattern I didn't know how to change. What was I going to do? One day my mom and I were talking, and I found enough courage to ask her a question that changed my life. If you could do it all over again, what would you do differently? Her answer surprised me. She responded, I'd go back to college and I wouldn't stop until I finished. At that moment, I decided I would do just what she said. Was it hard? Some days were harder than others. There were struggles all the way through. I struggled with money, time, a house full of responsibilities, working 32-hour weekends so I could be free to go to class during the week. I did without a lot of the things that I felt I wanted and needed. But all the time I was learning and growing and becoming the person I was meant to be. My mom was right. Going back to college was the right thing to do. Not because it prepared me for a job, but because it changed me and it prepared me for a world with endless possibilities. Like I said, if you guys do not have this book, go pick this up at your local public library or buy it at Borders bookstore or any bookstore. I'm telling you, you're missing out one of the best epic book that Bill Cosby and Dr. Poussin did. Come on, people, on a path of victims to victors. And I'll be posting another video blog talking about chapter 4. Okay? Peace.